In modern Minecraft, armor trim is really easy to find and make. But on the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft, one of these trims is actually the rarest item on the entire server, with only one in existence, the eye armor trim. On a server like 2b2t's, statistically, this item should not even exist, but one player managed to pull it off with over 7 months of planning and some of the most insane luck I've ever seen. Because this item can be duplicated in vanilla, an entire cult has formed in order to gatekeep the trim from the rest of the server and ensure it remains unobtainable. Today we're discussing the wild story behind the hunt for 2b2t's rarest item, and how, against all odds, a single player made history. Now, if you're waiting in 2b2t's queue to join, it's the perfect time to play War Thunder, a free-to-play epic military action game with countless historic land, sea, and air vehicles. You can fight intense battles using advanced military technologies, guided missiles, active protection systems, reconnaissance and strike drones, and even a nuclear strike that can flatten the entire map. The game has a massive selection of historically accurate vehicles, with plenty of options for customization. Thanks to War Thunder's unique damage model, there's no need for health bars. Every hit on the enemy has some sort of effect, which you can see with the in-game X-ray mode. The recent Alpha Strike update has added tons of new content and visual updates. It's the perfect time to play. Download War Thunder for free by using the link in the description. All new players and those who haven't played for half a year or more will receive special bonuses, such as vehicle rentals, a special decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and even more gifts. So hurry up and enter the battle. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. So why is the eye armor trim considered the rarest item currently on 2b2t? Well, it all has to do with its spawning conditions. In the most recent update of Minecraft, armor trim templates of different designs can be found in many structures, such as sunken ships, desert temples, and the list goes on. But eye armor trim is a unique case. It can only be found in strongholds. Originally, only 3 strongholds would generate in a world, but this eventually increased to 128. They generate around the coordinates 00 in ring patterns as you go farther out. Compared to other structures, which are numerous, 128 strongholds is a small amount in a practically infinite world. So statistically, the eye is already the rarest armor trim. Now, here's where it gets messy. 2b2t was started in 2010, before these strongholds even existed. Even when the end dimension was added to the game, strongholds were unable to spawn, because the chunks where they were supposed to be had already been generated by players. The only way to get to the end dimension was by backdooring the server and making your own portal. Not exactly easy. So in 2012, the server's admin, Housemaster, regenerated the chunks where the 3 strongholds were supposed to be, so players could access the end legitimately. But being such public locations, they were griefed constantly. When World Generation eventually changed to allow for 128 strongholds, House had no interest in regenerating the terrain for them, so for over a decade, there were only 3 strongholds on the entire server. But in August of 2023, the server had a massive update going from version 1.12 to 1.19, which introduced new world generation. This had a very interesting side effect on the server. Since the Caves and Cliffs update made all Minecraft worlds deeper by 64 blocks, this meant 2b2t's layer of bedrock at Y level 0 was removed across the entire server, causing new terrain to generate underneath. The extra 64 blocks of space actually allowed a few strongholds to retroactively generate in some chunks. Out of 128 potential strongholds, around 10 of them managed to spawn completely intact. The first time in over a decade the server had seen new ones. Most people were happy to just have end portals that weren't completely griefed. But there was one player in particular that realized something else, that in these strongholds was a secret opportunity. This player was named iHackedWalmart, and he had a plan requiring patience and secrecy. 2b2t was on version 1.19. He knew that armor trim was coming in 1.20. There was actually a small window of time to find the rarest one, the eye armor trim. It could be possible, but it would require the right conditions and extreme luck. You see, in a stronghold, eye trim can only be found in two very specific chests: library chests, which have a 100% chance of containing the trim, and altar chests, which only have a 10% chance. In Minecraft, loot only generates when a chest is opened for the first time. Library chests often have powerful enchantments inside, so players usually open them immediately. However, the altar chests can be pretty random with their loot, and since up to 4 of them can spawn in a single stronghold, some players will just ignore them. iHackedWalmart realized that since only a handful of players knew the location of these new strongholds, there was a chance some of these altar chests had not been opened yet. Since their loot never generated, there was a chance one of them could contain the trim if opened in 1.20. So iHackedWalmart quietly gathered the coordinates to each of the new strongholds without telling anyone his plans. After 7 months, it was finally announced that 1.20 was coming to 2b2t, and to prepare, a test server was opened to allow players to try it out. Since the test server was an exact replica of the real 2b2t, generated loot in chests would be identical. So iHackedWalmart could check the stronghold chests without fear of ruining them. On the test server, he traveled to each of the 10 strongholds, hoping that luck would be on his side. He spent hours searching, and his initial findings were grim. Out of the potential 10 to 40 combined altar chests that could possibly exist in these strongholds, only one was unopened. There he stood, knowing full well the odds were stacked against him. Only a 10% chance the trim was inside this one unopened chest. A 10% chance to make history. Despite these odds, he took a gamble and opened it. A single trim had generated. His careful planning had paid off. After the initial shock, he quietly logged into the main server and moved his account in front of the exact same chest and then logged out. 2 days later, the main server officially updated. iHackedWalmart instantly logged back in and quickly opened the chest. As expected, it was there, and he was now in possession of the server's only eye trim. After a few days had passed, he told some of his friends about this new treasure and felt he could trust them to not distribute copies of it. They quickly realized that they could gatekeep the trim from the rest of the server, ensuring it remained the rarest item. And from that idea, this group of friends would call themselves the Gatekeepers. Forming a cult around a single item is not unheard of on a server like 2b2t, and there have been several groups like this in the past, though none of them had something as exclusive as the eye trim. By joining the group, a member would be given a set of armor with the trim smithed by the leaders themselves. They would do all the armor crafting at a secret location to ensure none of them could be killed and lose the smithing template. They also put a curse of vanishing on every single piece of armor they created to ensure that if any of the members were killed, the armor would disappear on the ground and could not be stolen. This made it highly sought after, and the group quickly gained popularity in the community. It got to the point that the leaders were offered real-world money for copies of the smithing template, but they declined all offers. They would often have their induction ceremonies for new members inside the strongholds and would decorate the end portals with different designs. Eye trim armor quickly became fashionable and highly sought after from outsiders, since the template itself was still unobtainable from anywhere else. Now, some players may consider this entire concept unfair, but personally, I feel this group has earned the right to wear it. iHackedWalmart single-handedly saved this trim from extinction with careful planning, and with his friends, they've created a subculture from an armor trim that is likely meaningless on other servers. Since 2b2t is receiving modern updates on a regular basis now, there's no telling what may become the server's next rarest item.